Well, being here now, it's happening. It's real.
I'm excited to be out there and excited for the rest of the team.
Being in Steamboat has lifted my confidence a little bit, but then also made it feel a little bit more real.
I thought I was going to show up here basically shaking, starting to get a little nervous, trying to manage my anxiety, my panic, all of that stuff. And the closer we have gotten to the race, being here in Steamboat now, I'm just excited.
When people think of cycling challenges, they think of the epic climbs and relentless miles.
I've got to climb better. It's hard to pull this much weight up a hill.
To finish Steamboat Gravel is no joke.
Feels awkward, feels really awkward.
You have to believe.
So this is really like your first real gravel ride.
Yeah, this is the first time on gravel.
125 miles, over 10,000 feet of climbing.
We're in hell.
A test of endurance, spirit, and willpower.
That was super wild.
Nobody has ever conquered a race this tough without having to dig deep.
It's killing us.
Especially if you're brand new to gravel cycling.
So I got a lot of work to do.
We take 4 beginner cyclists and push them to their limits.
I didn't know if I could get out of bed. That's how sick I felt.
Challenging them to conquer some of the toughest bike races in the country.
We've come a really long way in a really short time.
This is more than just a race. This is a journey. And we're starting from the ground up.
Steamboat Springs has around 500 miles of gravel roads. It's champagne gravel. It's beautiful. We're such a heavy ranching community, which puts us in a unique position to have so much access to really remote, beautiful places to ride. I mean, from the beginning, Steamboat Gravel has been way more than a bike event, a bike race. From the beginning, we've worked really hard to instill values that we feel are important, feel the industry needs with regards to events in general. I wouldn't say just specific to gravel, around fun, around inclusivity, around challenge. To us, Steamboat Gravel is a way to create great memories together.
This is the community that we're talking about.
It's been always our goal to try to include every type of cyclist and give something for all of these different cyclists to do. It really is kind of considered one of the events that you really want to go to. A great destination here in Steamboat Springs. Some of the most amazing roads that you'll ever ride in terms of the dirt roads out in Routt County. And so it really is one that people kind of circle in their calendar well before the event.
Steamboat was a community first, and the resort was really icing on this very culture, heritage-rich cake. Steamboat really prides itself on tradition, very heavily in ranching, very heavily in maintaining this purity of old Colorado, while also accommodating modern change. So we really found it to be such a beautiful blend of community and recreation.
Steamboat Springs is an amazing place to visit. People come from all over to just walk around town and see these beautiful mountains. It's just become this event that's so much more than a bike race. So bringing our riders out early and getting to just walk through the expo and say hi to sponsors and just see everyone just having a good time, and I feel like that was really important because, you know, all year they've been slowly feeling like they're a part of this cycling community. They're new members, but you know, the more hugs they're given and handshakes, it really just solidifies their place in this sport.
How do we create something that enriches people's lives? How do we give people a challenge? How do we make something that's safe and fun and enjoyable and have friends when we leave here? And this is starting to feel a lot like a gravel family, so thank you all for being part of it. We're about inclusivity. Please wave to your riders.
We arrived in Steamboat on Thursday, and it's been a great opportunity to see the town, to pre-ride a little bit of the course. We were able to see Wulan Pass, which is the difficult part of the black course, the new addition this year. Yeah, like jello legs. Yeah. It got a little spicy. It was a lot harder than I expected, but glad that we were able to get a look at it.
This is the hardest climb out on course, right? So the point is that you just understand when you get here, that beginning when you're like, oh, I feel good the first mile and a half. Cool, you feel good, but like take it 2 steps back. Because this is where you will hit the wall.
I came into this I had practiced my climbing a lot. Like that was a big focus for me, especially in the past month. I practiced punchy, spicy climbs because I knew that they were gonna be steep. So my ride time was 1:51. The last time I did this took me over 3 hours to get up here. And so I felt really prepared. And then Wahoo Pass kind of knocked me in my teeth. It was a little more than I expected. My ego's bruised a little bit.
The formidable foe, right? I think the new addition of the course this year, and got to meet that thing face to face, and it's definitely formidable, doable, but it's going to be fun, I think, for a lot of people out there. And usually green means it's pretty steady, and then it's like fucking wall. It was nice to get out, check out the course, really feel what the gravel felt like on the tires.
I definitely got bummed during it, a little discouraged when I had to get off and walk, but a couple hours later, I was able to be really appreciative for the experience of getting to pre-ride it, and now going into it, I have a completely different plan on how I'm going to attack it, so it's a great thing. Thought I was going to be able to handle that climb a little better than I did, but really glad that we rode it, see it. I think that's been a big thing too, is shifting anything that doesn't work. That doesn't mean it's a failure. I am not a failure. I'm not a bad person. Like that moment, because I didn't get up Wahooligan yesterday, doesn't mean anything other than I get to try it again. And maybe next time I will get it. Especially in the beginning, I was really hard on myself with, oh God, I can't clip in. Oh gosh, I don't think I can go up that hill. And it felt like a failure. Felt like, oh, I'm doing this wrong and I can't do this and I can't move forward. And it's just, no, that's just a moment and you can get it next time. And maybe pausing and taking a step back is the right thing to do. But again, it's not freezing. It's not saying, okay, now we're just done here. We're never gonna try again.
I did it. Wow.
What'd you do?
I went all the way up. I came all the way down.
It's where you realize that bikes are not just made for going fast. Bikes are made for riding with people. Bikes are made for these small moments that are unplanned. When this all comes full circle and when we all get to look back at it, the community and those memories is going to be what sticks, not anybody placing or taking a cut off. It's going to be the people. And it's something that's really, really special, and it doesn't have to be bikes. That's just our vehicle.
As a mom, a lot of my long rides, I go home and I walk in the door and someone says, "What's for dinner?"
It's a baby one. Oh, I love it.
The recovery looks a lot different, and it just makes you really proud of yourself because, like, I'm out here and I'm riding really hard stuff and I'm training really hard, and I'm also going home and taking care of these people who rely on me. I just want them to know that they can do hard things too. And so if they see me doing hard things, they'll choose to take the hard road as well. I'm okay though. I don't feel like I'm gonna pass out anymore. I think a lot of people, if you ask them like what their biggest fear is, people that have kids, it would be losing their child. And I could say that was, one of mine too. When my son passed away, Boston, he was 20 months old. He is super sneaky, a very adventurous little boy, and he just kind of got away. It was just like the perfect storm of looking for him, and it took a while to find him, but he was in about probably like 6 to 10 inches of water, like that had run off, and he had drowned, and my husband found him. It's hard to lose somebody. You miss them. And over time, it's one of those questions I think maybe will be answered in heaven one day, but for now, just move forward. I have done a pretty good job of moving forward through hard things and trying to keep my kids' lives normal and fun, but I focus on that a lot and not necessarily on what do I want to do? How am I going to make my life more meaningful and push forward? I want to push my body. I want to push myself to a better place because my son's death has pushed me to be a better person. It has changed me. So I know that doing hard things can change you. And so I wanted to do something that's really hard, I know that there's going to be some long rides in my head of me and my thoughts, and I want to have the thoughts, and I want to work through the trauma and the grief and the sadness, because I think the bike is a good place to work through that, because there's a lot of other ways that I could choose that wouldn't be a good way to work through that. And mostly I've just been choosing to ignore it in ways. And so for me, going all in is that when something's hard, should not avoid it.
She homeschools the kids, so she's always with them. So the cooking, keeping the house together, keeping me together. So she's just like the most amazing mom. 6 kids and all the traumatic events we've gone through in our life, fighting through that and us fighting through it together. And then to watch her put her mind toward this and make this goal, and just the training, this insane training she's been doing is just incredible.
Little you guys know, they just confirmed me on camera they're going to do Leadville with me next year.
Oh.
I won't.
It's too late. I already said.
Oh my God. Another.
Call him.
Race day is just an activation as part of the whole experience that is Steamboat Gravel. So we inject these really cool, unique, fun, and funny engagements that allow truly an entire family to have a place here at Steamboat Gravel.
So we are out at the beginning of the festivities for Steamboat Gravel.
For example, we have our hill climb. Hill climb is an awesome event that happens on Friday night. Costumes required. It's a brutal climb up our fire road on Emerald Mountain. Awards for best costumes, awards for the last finisher, right? Pure fun as a way to kick this thing off.
Can we go shopping for cowboy boots? Lou and I want a pair.
You know, this morning was fun. We went to the pancake breakfast hosted by Chamois Buttr and the one and only Sir Willie and his handler Alexi Vermeulen, and had the family, you know, meet us there and kind of hang out low key, and they got to kind of sit back and see all the crazy cyclists in their tight spandex, and we're all here for this crazy event, and you know, it's been fun so far.
We're going out, starting at the finish. We're gonna ride out, turn around and ride back, just to get a feel for what the finish is like.
My favorite part so far has been seeing everybody again, hanging out, riding, experiencing a new place and new sights, and just hanging out with the cycling community. It's just everybody's saying hi to each other. Everybody's got the same vibe going. I'm stoked. It's been sick. I gotta get the lingo down still.
Just riding this little shakeout right now. This makes me think of that first ride we went on in Memphis when we were all riding on the street, and how much better this feels.
My coach worked with me on the practice called the halo effect. It's basically taking people who are really supportive of you and who are always rooting for you. What would they say to you in that moment when you're feeling really down, really low, really anxious about getting on the bike? Think of what they would say and just kind of picture it circling around your head and focus on those voices.
Keep moving forward, Brandon. You are so strong.
Look up and keep moving. You can do this, Brandon.
You can do more than you think you can. It's time to get after it. Let's go.
I feel a lot of pressure on the race, mostly just pressure I've put on myself because I want to finish really bad, and I'm not sure realistically if I can, but I know that it's the beginning of a long cycling journey, and so I'm excited about that.
I feel like I'm some type of athlete now, and I'm in this realm of being part of a team and put the training in together, and I think that's helped out a lot versus always trying to train alone. It just really helped with that community part, and even now we're here with like 3,000 other riders that have roughly done about the same thing, and so it's nice to see all that dedication kind of come together and have that feeling of being an athlete, right? I mean, we're amateur level, right? But still, to me, it feels like I'm competing on some high level.
So we have about 3,000 riders that will ride 4 course options of different distances. The longest one being the black course, which is 125 miles this year with over 10,000 feet of climbing. Beginner cyclists, this is not the challenge I would recommend. I mean, I would recommend this challenge for a pretty seasoned cyclist, someone who's been doing this for many years. The black course is really one of the hardest gravel courses in America. This is going to be a very, very difficult challenge for someone who's just had months on the bike. Almost impossible.
Steamboat Gravel has changed drastically since we started this project. It has always been known as the race Champagne Gravel, the race that you could almost ride a road bike on it, but there's a couple sections that kept you from doing so. Since last year, it changed a lot.
The biggest thing about this year's is just more climbing, a little bit shorter in terms of mileage, but I think really one of the hardest gravel cycling events of the season for the Americans. It's really going to test not just the pros, but for sure the amateurs. It's going to be really tough.
All that's left tomorrow is to go give it everything we've got. Dig as deep as we can and put together the best race and the smartest ride that we can. So I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about some things that we know that maybe I haven't relayed. Ultimately, you know, you've done all the hard work, but if we don't talk about this stuff now, then we could just make a silly mistake and all of a sudden, you know, we learned this in Leadville, you just like, don't make it. So we talked to the race director, Micah, and he explained that there are 2 main cutoffs that we should be concerned about, mile 37 and 67. If you're close to missing the cutoff at mile 37, you'll have the choice to take a shortcut. If you miss mile 67, your day is done. To have a chance of being an official finisher, you have to choose not to take a shortcut and push hard to make the cutoffs.
Don't feel like anybody's letting anybody down by taking the shortcut or not. But also there's a beauty in riding as hard as you can.
At mile 67, if you make it there, there's no more hard cutoffs after that. At mile like 100 or so, they're gonna have a sag wagon out there, and basically from there, what Micah was saying is, they're gonna be like, all right, because they need you have to finish by dark. And so they'll be like, all right, you're falling a little bit behind. At this pace, you're gonna be in too late. You're gonna take this road instead of this road. At any point, if that happens, it's the same, you're taking a shortcut, right? You're not finishing the race.
I came into it thinking like, oh, my gut, my usual Kristen would always be like, well, I'm going for it. But then I came into it thinking, well, maybe I should just do the cutoff, finish the race. But I think I would be happy with myself if I went for it. I'll probably go for it, but I'm not going to put a time on it.
Sweet, I like it.
We'll see how I
My
feel.
friend told me to think of walking as the 13th gear. It's like, just go into your 13th gear, it's fine. Yeah. You can't do it with your 12th, 13th gear, no problem.
Waddle. Yeah, early morning, we're gonna leave at 5:40, roll down, and see the scene.
I think it's just fun to have something fun in our lives, you know. I'm just thankful for it. And so mostly like tomorrow, I want to have fun. And I'm going to make sure that that's a priority, not just finishing. And for sure I want to finish, obviously. But I want to make sure that I enjoy it because I know that that's what my family and friends want for me too.
Still a little nervous. I think that's good though.
6 months almost now of putting it down and working for the race tomorrow. It's taught me a lot about myself and what I can push myself to do that I wouldn't have done even a year ago. A year ago, I could barely walk without a cane. To see that I'm not so old, I guess, after all.
I'm so stoked.
I'm more than capable in that I am able to tap into this really weird thing in the back of my brain somewhere and just kind of flip the switch and say go and fight through whatever I'm fighting through and get to the top of some of these passes and climbs. And you know, hopefully tomorrow the goal is to use that same skill to finish. I don't really have any other plan.
That was fun. That was ferocious.
I hope that no matter what happens, I don't get too hard on myself because this is such a huge success and this isn't the end of me being a cyclist. This is just the beginning. So if something doesn't go right tomorrow, maybe it will in a month from now. Maybe I can come back and do the race again. I did come here to be as prepared as I can at the start line, and I am as prepared as I can be. Everything that happens will be something that I couldn't have done 6 months ago that I'm now doing, and that's pretty fucking cool.
We did it! Woo. I'm fully committed now, no turning back.
They just need that gun to go off and to get across that start line. And hopefully then they can really start to just celebrate what they've been through. All the work is done. Tomorrow's just like put into the test. And the biggest thing with this whole project is it's not about how far they get. It's about what they've done to get here, how they've changed as people, and ultimately, regardless of how far they make it tomorrow, we're just really proud of how far they've come.